happened last year? What happened this year? When was rain last year? When was rain this year? And looking at those seasonal changes, and what kind of yields did you get? And if you didn't get those yields, what happened? You have to do a kind of comparative analysis. And doing that, we were able to tell them precisely what they should be looking at for. And of course, we also get information from NIMET, and getting this information, the meteorological information, we were able to also communicate with them on what they should be looking at. But that aside, in terms of renewable energies, our organization, of course, have also worked extensively in that area, creating awareness. Like I said in my short video, the World Health Organization stated that 98,000 women die annually as a result of cooking with firewood. Now, what can we do differently in trying to address that issue? It's part of the climate change. Whether we like it or not, the Minister for Environment started something here which is very critical. We came back from Paris together, and from Paris we hit straight into the Northeast, trying to look at what is this issue that we're discussing. And when you go to, for instance, Yobe, the kind of sand dunes that we saw, and how these people that have been living with these sand dunes for years have been able to cope with it, is something that we need to first and foremost study. How have they been able to adapt to this situation? We went to Borno, we went up to Banga. Banga was a place that millions of people were feeding upon. So the source of livelihoods were on Baga, which means Baga has dried up. So the unrest that we have from the northeast, including the Lake Chad, is as a result of the rivers that have dried up. And if these rivers are dried up, what can we do as a people, as a government, as civil society in trying to address this? For us as an organization, for us as women group, because our target is women and youth, how can we create awareness? But how can we look at those issues, how they've been coping with this impact of climate change, and try to enhance it? It's not just to import technology that are not adaptable. We're looking at technology that are useful, are accessible, and are available, and are cost effective. Because we are dealing with rural women. And if we're dealing with rural women, you can't bring them, for instance, cook stoves that they will not be able to afford. So for our organization, we are looking at fuel efficient cook stoves, because we are being able to teach them how to do that. Yes, we're talking about environment, but you cannot eliminate completely the issue of fuel wood at this point in time, because it's a gradual process.
Yeah.
And through looking at the different solutions, we will one day get there.
Okay, thank you very much. Manuela, just before we begin to wrap up now, when you look at what you have seen in Nigeria and across the continent, Africa, how do you see the issue of climate change being seriously dealt with and being taken care of in Nigeria and across Africa?
You know, first of all, I want to say I'm very much impressed by these eco-ambassadors, and I'm very happy that we can showcase you and Eco at Africa. You are doing great work. We spoke earlier also, and I'm really impressed. And I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, education is the most powerful weapon for change. And I think that's what you are doing. And that's what we are doing with Eco at Africa. And looking at projects in Africa, I feel a kind of change in the thinking, and I think things can be done. We have a little series in Eco at Africa, you know it, it's called Doing Your Bit. We ask people to send us what they are doing to help to protect the environment. They can send us videos, photos, or whatever, and we will showcase it in Eco at Africa. And I think we all can do our bit, and that's what you do here in Africa, and that's what we do in Germany and in Europe.
Okay, now that we have to wrap up, I'll start with Engineer Yaya Ahmed first. What will be your message to Nigerians and to the federal government of Nigeria in terms of protection of environment and renewable energy and other such things that affect the earth?
Well, really my message to the federal government of Nigeria is they should take this climate change seriously. It's a very serious issue, as Madikujumi said. It's a life-sustaining issue. It's more than just saying environment or climate change. So if the government will take it serious and then really put in efforts with all sorts of civil society organizations, everything, and all the media that we have, in really sensitizing our populace that we have a big challenge, more serious than any other thing, for our livelihood. If we can do that, I think we'll make a step forward.
Omolola, what will be your message to Nigerians and to our government?
I believe the message will be that we already have identified there's a problem, but we need to, find a solution that is Nigerian to this problem, so that people can embrace it, people can understand it, and people can begin to change from there. Like Mr. Majakudumi here said, it's a life issue, and it's important that we take this very seriously. Malaria, they say, is the first killer in Africa, and it starts from blocked sewers, for water not flowing and things like that. And most of it is by, like he said, decoration of the plastic bottles on our streets. And if we can create, awareness and education, I believe this will drive policy at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay, I would let Desmond Majakodumi wrap up his own words with the life support that we live in. How do we make sure that Nigerians really care more about it?
Well, just the biggest sign for optimism is that 99 or 98, at the very, very, very worst case scenario, of people that I've met have a common denominator, and that is they love their children. Yeah, everybody loves their children. Oh, can I ask the audience, do you love your children? Yes. Of course you do. Of course you do. And now, the scientists and the leaders of the world, Ban Ki-moon is saying it's a crisis. Al Gore has been saying this for a long time, so many of them. Even Bill Gates has given a massive amount of his fortune towards renewable energy. So they're telling us that, hey, we're compromising their life support system. So for the love of our children, let's just get it right and care for the creation, care for nature. It's our duty, it's our responsibility.
Okay, and the final word from Priscilla Achapa. I want you to focus it more on women, because the saying is clear. Some people will say it's a cliche, but the saying is, if you build a girl, if you develop a girl, you develop a nation, because they are our mothers. And if we're able to look after them, they will train all of us the right thing to do. What will be your message?
Sure, you have said it all. And you know that the heartbeat of our organization and myself is about women. And so when we talk about women and environment, we are looking at the hundreds of the miles that women trek looking for firewood or looking for water to take care of the family, the home front. The desert encroachment, which has made a lot of the people forced migration, where their source of livelihood has been eroded, and where women are always at the receiving end. We need policies that target especially the rural women from the government, but we know that the government cannot do it all by itself. We need the media, we need the civil society, we need the donors to support these initiatives. And supporting initiatives that are targeting specifically women and the children in terms of environmental issues is critical. For instance, and I give you, sorry, I'm passionate about this issue when I start talking about it. The issue of the Lake Chad drying up, the source of livelihoods of millions of people has been eroded. And when you talk about Boko Haram, which most of the issues we are not addressing has to do with that Lake Chad drying up, where millions of people's source of livelihood were dependent upon that. And now they are displaced, they are forced to migrate, they don't have anything, there are no alternatives. We need to create alternatives, especially for the women that the men migrate and leave them behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the final word, thank you very much, Priscilla. Final word, Manuela, across between Africa and Europe. That's what ECHO at Africa is about. Your final word in terms of making sure that this works and this gets the message across.
Well, I'm very proud to be part of the cross, to be with my team, with our team, working together for this program. And actually, I think we can do it, you know, and we will do it. I'm very happy to be here, and that I'm absolutely convinced that it will work. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause. Yes, we can. We can do it, and we will do it. So on that note, I want to invite to the white and blue table, because we've said there is a level of commitment in making this happen. And we're not just saying it as words, but we're putting pen to paper. And we will be inviting Mr. John Momo, the chairman of Channels Television, Mr. Peter Limburg, the Director General of Deutsche Welle, and then please take your seat there. And then I would also invite Mrs. Shola Momo, the Vice Chairman of Channels Television, and Ms. Gerda Moya. I can see that she's looking at me whether I'll get it right. But Gerda Moya, please join. She is the Executive Director Programming for Deutsche Welle. A big round of applause for them, please. And everyone around will be a witness. And for all those who are watching on Channels Television here in Nigeria, Channels Television, or Channels 24 as we call it in the United Kingdom, what you're witnessing is the signing of the MOU between Channels Television and Deutsche Welle to ensure that we commit ourselves, not just as words, but in written form through a contractual agreement, that we will ensure that we get the message out there to create best practice and also make awareness possible for everyone all around the continent Africa that it's extremely important that we care about the environment, we think about renewable energy, we think about saving the earth, and as Desmond Majekudume said, our life support has got to be taken care of very well. It's all being signed. Thank you very much. So on that note, thank you very much. On that note, I want to say thank you very much to all those who have been part of this program. And I want to say a special thank you to our partner, Mr. Peter Limburg and his team who are here from Germany. A special thank you to the Minister of Environment who's not able to make it but did send a representative in the person of Dr. Hassan. Of course, a very special thanks to the ambassador of the EU delegation to Nigeria and West Africa, and of course a friend of Channels Television, the Minister of Solid Mineral, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, and all of you who have been here to join us today witnessing what we have just created, and those who are watching at home, we want to say thank you very much, and we'll say it's a wrap. Have a good evening, and do care about the life support in which you live so that it will continue to support you. Good evening.